What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Isak to Liverpool transfer update video, and we will talk about Tyler Morton and Darwin Nunez as well, because there are big breaking news about Liverpool selling some big players for big amounts of money as well. But since I made yesterday's video, so much has happened, so many things have gone on. The biggest one is that Liverpool actually submitted a formal first official offer for Darwin Isak to Newcastle, and the reports vary on how much Liverpool actually bid, which is pretty strange because Fabrizio reported, according to his sources, that Liverpool bid for more than £120 million. So initially I thought it will be 130 million with add-ons and bonuses. So the package was 120 million plus add-ons, and Newcastle rejected that first offer, which is pretty standard as well. And Newcastle won't sanction a sale of Darwin Isak until they bring in a replacement, which we know about, but it looks like Newcastle have found an agreement with Benjamin Šeško and with Leipzig. And remember that Jurgen Klopp is the CEO of football at Red Bull, so Jurgen Klopp may be nudging Šeško in the direction of Newcastle to help Liverpool sign Isak. That is a theory going around among football fans as well, but the main thing is it looks like Benjamin Šeško is choosing Newcastle and Leipzig are willing to do a deal, so that helps Liverpool a lot, because once Šeško is officially a Newcastle player, I think that's when Newcastle will be more open to selling Darwin Isak. It's all about optics, it's all about how Newcastle as a football club look to their fans and to the wide football world. They want to save a face in terms of PR. That's why this whole dance around Darwin Isak is occurring in the media. So read between the lines, guys, be smart and think about which journalists are getting briefed by Liverpool to show Liverpool's side of the story, and which journalists are briefed by Newcastle to show the Newcastle side of the story, because there are different sides and the different reports favor, Liverpool, and the other reports are favoring Newcastle to make them look better. So Isak insists with Newcastle on his clear desire to join Liverpool, and that's the most important thing. So Newcastle have rejected this formal offer, and the fact that Liverpool have now followed up with a firm bid demonstrates that the determination to land Isak, and also Liverpool have all the intentions to make life as difficult for Newcastle as possible. And Darwin Isak also is expected to make a formal transfer request if there is no breakthrough in the negotiations. Newcastle, of course, are not impressed that this first bid was made public. But I think it was made public through Isak and his agents or through Liverpool as well. The second bid is expected to be made public once Newcastle open the door to Liverpool, and that will happen once Benjamin Šeško becomes a Newcastle player. But the talks between Liverpool and Newcastle continue, and I think it's very interesting how the Newcastle side are spinning this. And Craig Hope is a Newcastle-based journalist, and according to Craig Hope, Liverpool bid £120 million, and Newcastle United are apparently baffled by this low ball bid. I mean, how can you label £110 million, which is a British transfer record, as a low ball bid? That blows my mind, and that just shows that Newcastle want to extract as much money out of Liverpool as possible. Apparently their informal offer was 120 million. Ben Jacobs and Craig Hope are reporting that Liverpool's first bid was worth 110 million. But I think the minimum is 110 with base fee with a lot of add-ons, making it 125 million pounds in total. And the Newcastle sources believe that Liverpool have strung along the striker. Basically, Craig Hope and Newcastle are saying that Liverpool are not serious about getting Darwin Isak because they only bid 110 million base fee, which just blows my mind. And Newcastle are angry at the conduct and the suspicion that Liverpool have bottled it and they didn't have the courage to bid higher. And there is sympathy for Darwin Isak, and Newcastle feel that Darwin Isak has been badly advised by Liverpool or his agents. So that's a pretty sensational report by Craig Hope, and he says that as things stand, Newcastle see no reason why Alexander Isak should not return to training next week. I mean, that is absolutely blows my mind, because Eddie Howe and Newcastle didn't even know that Alexander Isak traveled to Spain. They found that out through the media. And they expect Alexander Isak to turn up to training on Monday, like as if nothing happened. They are so delusional. And this is all a dance, this is all a play in the public media to make Newcastle look better. And to make Newcastle, basically the narrative that Newcastle are trying to paint through these journalists is that they tried everything to keep Isak, and it was Isak who forced their hand, and they had no other option but to sell him, because Isak didn't even want to go back to return. Basically making Isak the bad guy, so Newcastle come out of this looking like the good guys in this story. Craig Hope also posted a Benjamin Šeško update. He said that Newcastle have presented their package and vision to the player, and they await his decision. Man United are also at the negotiating table, and there are reports from Slovenian journalists that Benjamin Šeško chose Newcastle, but that wasn't communicated yet to Newcastle. That's the latest news this morning. And during the week there were reports that maybe Šeško favors Man United, but it wasn't also officially communicated that to Newcastle as well. Eddie Howe said this about Liverpool's rejected offer, and I think this is very telling. This is the Newcastle manager saying, I was made aware of a bid yesterday, and that bid was turned down all before I had even heard about it. People back in England are dealing with the situation. I don't know what happens next. From our perspective, we still support Alex in every way, and my wish is that we see him in a Newcastle shirt again. But it looks like it's not Eddie Howe's decision. But Eddie Howe was asked about did he know Alexander Isak traveled to Spain to train there at Real Sociedad's training center, and he said, I know where he is really through the media. From that perspective, it's difficult for me to go into any kind of detail. The situation is far from ideal and it's quite complex. So imagine the Newcastle manager not even knowing that their star player, Alexander Isak, traveled to Spain to train there. How can you expect Alexander Isak to turn up to Newcastle training on Monday as if nothing happened? A lot of Newcastle players and a lot of Newcastle fans now see Alexander Isak as a traitor, as a player who is a rat who betrayed Newcastle, and I don't think they will welcome him back with open arms. And Eddie Howe says Newcastle will try to do things the right way when it comes to transfers, in terms of trying to upset players and all that kind of stuff. From my perspective, we can only talk about our conduct. We try to do things in the right way. Signing players is always complex. We just try to do what we think is right. I can't talk about other clubs. That's not for me to say. So Eddie Howe refused to criticize Liverpool, but it looks like Liverpool are preparing their second offer as we speak, and that will be 80 million pounds up front, like paid right now to Newcastle this month, so they can reinvest that into signing big players for their squad, and another 50 million pounds next year, so that could be 130 million pounds in the next 2 years, basically in the next year, paid to Newcastle, and another 10 million pounds in add-ons and bonuses. So that totals to 140 million, and I think that second offer will get accepted by Newcastle once they get Isak's replacement in. But Ben Jacobs and some Liverpool-based journalists are reporting that Liverpool made this first bid and they have no intention to bid again until Newcastle open the door for Liverpool. Basically, they want Newcastle to contact Liverpool to say, we are inviting a second bid. The personal terms with Isak is not a problem. I'm not sure where this comes from, that Liverpool bid 110 million fixed with no add-ons. That would be so strange by Liverpool, and I think that would be very weird, because Liverpool informally offered Newcastle 120 million, so maybe they just want to get the ball rolling and get the conversation going, and also they want to put pressure on Newcastle, and I think it's working. Liverpool have bid with optimism this morning, but Newcastle's response was so quick and so strong. Another bid is currently not in the works, according to Ben Jacobs. The key now is how Isak responds. Because of course, if Isak goes back to training on Monday and says that I want to stay at Newcastle, then maybe Liverpool will walk away. But I don't see that happening. Isak is already on strike, he's already in Spain. And Newcastle are hoping that Isak reintegrates into the squad. And they even offered him a new contract with a release clause for next summer in a desperate attempt to convince Isak to stay. But Isak doesn't want to play for Newcastle anymore. He doesn't want to even train with Newcastle. He doesn't even want to be in Newcastle anymore. He got away from all of that. He traveled to Sweden and then to Spain without the knowledge of Newcastle, without the knowledge of Eddie Howe. And should Isak double down and say that I still want to move to Liverpool, which I think will happen, then Newcastle will find striker replacements, then Liverpool could revisit their stance. That's the report. But only if Newcastle contact them to offer encouragement. Liverpool won't bid again unless Newcastle indicates they will discuss a sale. So basically, Liverpool are calling Newcastle's bluff here. And there is a difference between not bidding again and walking away entirely from a long-held interest in Isak. Paul Joyce is reporting this. But the games that are routinely played in this transfer window, this is what's happening. It feels like it would need a change of heart from Newcastle to add fresh momentum into matters. That could come if the club manages to bolster its own attacking options, and that's why this Benjamin Šeško to Newcastle deal is absolutely crucial to Alexander Isak happening to Liverpool, because Newcastle want a top striker to be playing for them up front next season. And if they can't secure Benjamin Šeško or other big targets, or Ollie Watkins, then they won't sell Alexander Isak. So that's why Liverpool are rooting for this transfer of Šeško to Newcastle to go through. And Fabrizio Romano said that yes, Newcastle said no to Liverpool's bid. That's why you see many reports on Liverpool not willing to bid again. But internally, Liverpool know that this is all part of the game. This is all part of the dance of the transfer window. It's still the beginning of August. There is still a full month left of the transfer window. Liverpool expected Newcastle to be strong on their position. The only way for this deal to happen is if Newcastle get a top striker and decide internally to let Isak go. And with Isak being on strike, not training with Newcastle, just checking out completely, I don't see a way where Newcastle thinks, we have Šeško, we have Wissa, maybe in a week or two, let's sell Alexander Isak. I don't see any other scenario. I don't think Newcastle will keep a player who is so checked out and who is so unhappy and who doesn't want to play for Newcastle anymore. It just wouldn't make sense. And right now, Newcastle can get the absolute maximum amount of money for Alexander Isak. Fabrizio Romano also said that Newcastle showed their stance is the player is not leaving, but if there is a replacement, let's see what's going to happen. Newcastle wanted to send that message with a big bid, not only to Newcastle but also to Isak, that Liverpool are serious about getting him, and we started the ball rolling by making this huge bid. They wanted to show Isak that they are ready. They sent a clear message to Alexander Isak, and that's, I think, the main thing about this. So Liverpool already showed to Newcastle and to Alexander Isak they are serious. They are willing to bid a club record and the British transfer record bid for Alexander Isak. So I'm really optimistic about this deal happening, especially because Fabrizio Romano reported yesterday evening that Al Hilal have open talks with Darwin Nunez. Liverpool gave permission to the Saudi club to talk with Nunez, and he is available on the market and is ready to leave Liverpool. Of course, there is no official proposal to Liverpool yet, because first Al Hilal need to agree personal terms and contract terms with Nunez, but I don't think that should be a problem because Al Hilal have a lot of money and they can offer crazy wages to Nunez. And I think Liverpool will be willing to sell Darwin Nunez for the right price. Hopefully that will be around 50-55 million pounds. And also it looks like Tyler Morton is going to Lyon for 15 million pounds. That's a very good deal for a fringe player like Tyler Morton, who hardly ever plays for Liverpool, and he's at the age where he needs to play regularly, and I think at Lyon that's a good deal for them. And again, Liverpool have played the blinder, selling Jarrod Kwanzaa for like 35 million, 18 million for Kelleher, and now 15 million pounds for Tyler Morton, who has 1 year left on his contract. Liverpool is on another level, selling players. Luis Diaz for £65 million. He's 28 years old with 2 years left on his contract. Is another great deal. And also Trent Alexander being sold for 10 million euros with having 1 month left of his contract. That's another great piece of business by Liverpool. So I'm really happy with how Liverpool are doing in this transfer window. And the Slovenian journalist reported that Newcastle have won the battle for Slovenian star Benjamin Šeško. So Newcastle beat Man United and Liverpool as well to Šeško. I don't think Liverpool were that seriously interested in Šeško, which were just linked with the transfer. And I think it's worth saying that this 150 million pounds that Newcastle want for Isak, that's an excessive emotional valuation, because the real valuation should be around 130 million. Because if Florian Wirtz, who is 2 years younger than Isak, who is Germany's best player, he has better appraisal ability than Isak, so he's not injured as much. He's proven a world class already, and he cost 100 million base fee with another 16 million with add-ons. So even if all the add-ons are triggered and Liverpool win the Champions League, the Premier League and everything in the next 5 years with Wirtz in the team, he still would cost 116 million. And Newcastle want 150 million for Isak. That's pretty outrageous. I mean, all the add-ons will be triggered if Wirtz wins the Ballon d'Or with Liverpool. So I think Isak should be around 135 million maximum. But you know, that's not how the transfer window works. Hopefully Liverpool can find an agreement with Newcastle once they get Šeško officially in at Newcastle. But let me know what you think about this latest update around Alexander Isak. It's absolutely a fascinating story, with each day new things, new surprises coming. So I will keep you guys updated on my channel. So stay subscribed. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you later, guys. Goodbye.